Hello everyone. Today we are going to do lowest common ancestor of binary tree from LeetCode. Actually, this question has seven variations present at LeetCode, so I'll try to make about seven videos for all seven variations. And one more thing, this question is pretty much important as a part of interview perspective because it has been asked in various past interviews like Microsoft, Willow, Google, and some various other companies. So before starting with it, first we need to check that what actually least common ancestors mean. So LCA, that is the lowest common ancestor. So for this, let's pick up a tree. Tree 30, and let's say we have two nodes. One is P1 which is equal to 60 and one is P2 which is equal to 70. So we need to find out LCA of both of the nodes. So our P1 is present here and our P2 is present here. If both are part of the same subtree, but they both are in the different nodes. So first find out the ancestors of 60. So for finding out ancestors of 60, it's 40, 30, and 10. If we check out ancestor of 70, then it's 50, 30, and then 10. Now it comes the part common. So in both of them, our 70 is having these ancestor and our 60 is having these ancestors. Now comes up the part of common. Out of all ancestors, we are having two nodes which are common in both. And those two nodes are 30 and 10. Now the third word which comes up is lowest. What does lowest mean? Lowest simply means any node which is present there, but after that there shouldn't be any other node which is common among both. So that's why, as per the definition of lowest common ancestor, the node which is ancestor, that is this, which is also common and also the lowest one, because after this there is no node which is common in both. So that's why LCA of 60 and 70 is simply 30. Let's take some more example on this tree only for better understanding. Uh, for time being, let's select two nodes 20 and 80. So for 80, our ancestors are 50, 30, and 10. Basically, all these are ancestors of 80. And for 20, we have just one ancestor, that is 10. Now comes the part of common. So the common among both is 10, and the lowest is also the 10, because after 10 there is no other node that is common in both. So that's why LCA of 20 and 80 is 10. Now for one more example with some other variation, let's select 80 itself and 30. In this example, we can observe that 80 and 30 both lie on the same ancestor lineage. That is, 30 is having ancestor as 10, whereas 80 has ancestor 50, then 30 itself, and then 10. So now the common among both of the node is 30 itself, and the lowest one is also 30 itself. So the lowest common ancestor of 30 and 80 is 30. Now let's take one more last example. Let's select now 70 and 80 itself. Another thing is that in both of them, the one which is common is for 70 we are having 50, and for 80 also we are having 50, and after that there are common ones, but the only one which is at the lowest position is 50. So the lowest common ancestor of 70 and 80 will be simply 50. After these four examples, we can simply observe that when it is on the same lineage, then the one which is towards the root is the one which becomes LCA. If both of them are in same subtree, that is 70 and 80, the one which is root of both, that is 50, is its LCA. Then if both are in same subtree of the main root, but both of them are the leaf nodes, then the one which is there as the root of both of them becomes its LCA. And for the one in different subtrees, that is 20 and 80, the LCA would be the main root, that is 10. So now, after understanding what the LCA is about, let's come up to the solution. Like how we could do this by, so let's first think about a naive approach. For naive approach, we could simply take for by doing it by simply path arrays. So let's simply take the example of this, that is we are having 16, 17, 30 as the lowest common ancestor, and in here we are having 30 and 80 where the lowest common ancestor is 20. So what we are doing here is that we are choosing two path arrays, and what does these path arrays do? Actually, these two path arrays the nodes from the root till that particular node, like path 1 array, which is the path 1 of the 30 node, as 30 is here at the last, and path 2 array, which is for the node 80, and here 80 is the last node. So what we are doing is we are simply storing all the nodes which simply goes till our first node, that is E1, and simply store them into this array. That is 10, 50, 20, 90, and 30. We are stored here. And for the 80, that is part 2, from the root 10, 50, 20, and 80. We are stored here. Now comes the part that we need to find out the LCA. And LCA is simply that node which is common as the at the lowest. So here 10 is there common in both, 50 is there common in both, but 20 is there common in both. But after that, there is no other node which is common in both. So that's why 20 is at that node which is the lowest common ancestor of both of the nodes, that is 30 and 80. So LCA of 30 and 80 is 20. So what we are doing is we are simply taking two path arrays, storing the nodes in it from root node till that particular E1 node. Then another path array, we are storing from root node to that Q node, and then we are simply traversing both of the array and finding out the common node in them. And when we find out that common node, then that node is our answer. Actually, in this approach, we would be traversing three times this tree. One for making the path one array, another one for making the path two array, and for the third time when we are traversing is when we are finding out the common among both. So that's why this solution needs three traversals. The time complexity of this approach will be simply order of n, and this space complexity will also be the order of n. So let's come up to the code. So here it is. So in this, what we are doing is our main function is simply this one. This is our main function which was given to us. We have simply created two path arrays, which is basically a vector of three nodes. Then we have taken one previous pointer which is initially null. Then we are doing this thing so that we could call a find path function, and if either of them return false, then we will be returning null, and when all of above steps would be done, then we are simply traversing to both of the path arrays, and for that we are using this function. And at the end, we need to return the previous pointer. So what our find path function is simply doing, first thing, uh, we are calling our find path function from here. We are passing the root, means the tree root we are passing here. Then we are passing our path 1 array, that is the one which we have created here for our tree node 1. Then we are passing the value of the node 1. So like this, if we take for our first example itself, means this one, in this our p is 5 and q is 1. So first we will be passing our 5 here. So in first case, as we are doing simply TFS and backtracking, actually this whole part is TFS part, and this part is our backtracking one. So we have simply created a base case, that is root equals null. Means if our tree is itself null, then we will simply return false because there is then obviously no path. And if it is not null, then we will simply push our root to the P, that is our path vector. Then we will check for that if root's value is equal to null, means the present node which we are at, if its value is simply equal to the node for which we are finding out, then we will simply return true because we had already pushed our root into our path. So our path array is also filled, and if we have found that it's simply completed, that we have encountered our node, then we simply return true. And after that, if if that was not the case, that we hadn't find that value, so next what we need to do is we'll simply traverse the tree and go towards the left, or we'll go towards the right. When we are going towards the left, it will be called again, and then it will check that if it's null or not, and then it will again push into the path, and after that it will check again for the root. And same it will be doing for this right part also. Again, same step will be repeated. But one thing is that if either one of them returns true, then our function will simply return true here. Else, the third case will be encountered, that is we hadn't find any of them. So we'll simply pop back that particular node. And at the end, we'll return false if our tree is completed now. This whole tree traversal is completed. That is, we hadn't even find that node. Here in this question, it is already given that we are given with the value of p and q, both of them. But there could be one more case that either of the nodes are not given. Actually, this is one more variation of this else only, that we are not given with either of the nodes. So in that case, this solution will completely work. So after the filling of these both path arrays, what we will be doing is we'll check here because we were calling from there if either of them returns false, means either path 1 or path 2, either of them return false and will simply return null. That is, there is no common ancestor. But if a path arrays are filled and we hadn't encountered any false value and no returning of null took place, so what we will be doing is we'll simply traverse the path 1 and path 2 array simultaneously. Not actually simultaneously, but side by side only. And after that, what we'll check is if path 1 of 5 means a present value is not equals to the present value of path 2, that will simply return path 1 I minus 1. That is the one which was earlier common. Because see, we are simply traversing from the starting, that is from the root side. So there is at least one node which is always common. That is our root node. So that's why we are returning this. But there could be any case also like we are not encountering any of the nodes which are not common. Like that case of like this case. Then means when it was simply when we were having example of 80 and 30. In this, all the nodes are actually common. So that's why we won't be encountering any case when we need to go into that if condition. So that's why in this case we will be storing all of the ancestors in as the previous variable basically. And when either of the paths is finished, then our loop will be stopped and will return our previous value. So this is what it will be happening in this solution. So basically, if I try to explain this solution with one example, let's take this example itself. So uh, in this case, our tree is 3, 5, 6, 2, 7, 4, and then 1, 0, and 8. And our t is equal to 5 and q equals to 4. That is our here and 5 is here. Basically, they both of them lie on same lineage. So that's why we can say that lowest common ancestor would be 5 itself. But as we are doing with the help of those path arrays, so what the path array of 5 will store. So as for this code, so as per the code, two arrays would be created, and after that it will be passed. Means our first value, that is 5, will be passed with the path 1 array and a root to our find path function. So first is there that root equals to null. That's not the case, so it won't return false. But at this time, it will simply push 3 into this path array, basically in the form of 3 nodes. And then it will check that if root's value, because our present root is 3, so its value is not equal to 5. So it will simply not return true at this moment, but after that it will check its left child. When it will be checking its left child, it will simply encounter that this is equals to 5. So this will simply return true, and when it will return true, and before that our path array will be 3 and 5, and then it will return true, and when it will return true, then simply we will exit this function at in the next values of that few instead of that 4. So for 4, it will now our path array is simply part 2. Now first 3 will be pushed into the path array. It will check again for the condition that root equals null. That's not true. It will push. It has pushed. It will check for the root value equal to equivalent. That is also not true presently. Then it will traverse for its left child, and now it will check for its left child, and then it now 5 is the root. Now again all the steps will be repeated, but it was not true. So it will now as 5 is the root now 5 will check for its left child. Now its left child is 6, but 6 is again not equal to n. So now it will be the root and it will check for its left child, which is null. So this will return as false, and it will now check for its right child, which is also null. It will encounter null, so it will be returned null. And now its left and right call both are finished, so it will simply return false to its root. So now 5 is root again. So 5 will check for its right child. Its right child is 2, and it is not equal to the n. So now it will become as the root, and then it will check for its left child, which is 7. Now 7 is the root, so 7 will check for its left child, which is null. So null would be returned. Now again 7 is the root, and now 7 will check for its right child, which is null again. So null will be returned to 7, and overall 7 will return null to 2. And now it is again root. So at this present moment, at part 2 is 3, 5. Basically, when 6 returned, then 6 was also filled, but it has returned null. So at that moment, 6 was popped. So at part 2 array simply became at that moment 3 and 5. And when 5 right child 2 was encountered, then path array became 3, 5 and 2. And then when 2's left child was encountered, then path array became 3, 5, 2 and 7. But as 7 returned null, so again 7 was popped. And again the path array was 3, 5 and 2. At the end, when 2 was root, now 2 has been checking for its right child. So now the path array will be simply 3, 5, 2 and 4. And now 4 simply matches with a q value. So the whole function will return true. And now we are having our both of the path arrays. Now comes the part of traversing both of the path arrays. Basically, our path 1 is 3 and 5, and our path 2 is 3, 5, 2 and 4. Now we need to traverse both of them. So first, according to this, means we will traversing according to this. Means according to this function. So now at I equals to 0, and size of this is 2 and size of this is 4. When I is 0, then part 1 of 0 equals to 3, and same is for this part 2. Both of them are equal, so it will simply go ahead. Then I is equal to 1. Then path 1 of 1 equals to 5. And part 2 of 1 is equal to 5 again. So it will go ahead. But when I equals to 2, at this moment, we simply exit this condition. That is, now our path 1 is simply finished. But at this moment only, like at every step, our previous was also stored. Our previous here was path 1 of I, that is 3. Here previous was 5. And at this moment, we were enabled to move in the loop because of the condition. So at the end, we need to return the previous, which was 5. So our the answer came out to be 5 at this moment. So this was all for this question. Thank you.